Dallas Cowboys cap space. I want to make sure they didn't do anything over here and over the cap. But when I last looked, 60 million bucks in the hole. 60. It's now up to 63. It went backwards somehow. Um, in effective cap space for the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe that deal for Javonte Williams just hit the books officially. Um, in the draft, they have 8 picks, just two in the top 100, but both are first round, 12 and 20, then 112, and then 5 picks, 150 or later. Current roster, we have a good roster, but we have some work to do to get cap compliant. This cap figure from OTC includes Pickens' tag number, so it includes roughly 29 million cap hit for George Pickens under the franchise tag. So that's at least a good sign. When I saw that 60 at first, I didn't know it included it. And I was like, oh boy, this is tough. Um, so that includes Pickens. And I'm looking to get a long-term deal done. This is great. I'm stepping in as GM in this podcast episode. Jerry Jones, I'm pushing off to the side, and I'm going rogue, and I'm giving George Pickens a good contract to get this contract cap number down. Um, you can get you can and Ben, I don't know if you've ever done this because I know you go down a crazy rabbit hole and you take yourself down enough rabbit holes. So I don't know if this is one you do right now. Actually making contracts and over the cap. You can do like real, give them the signing bonus and map out what the cap is going to be each year and all this stuff. Um, I did that with Dallas because they have a lot of stuff going on here. Um, you can give George Pickens a legitimate like Amon Ra St. Brown contract and still get his cap number and that gets his cap number to like $9 million. Now his cap is going to be like in the 30s for the next 3 seasons, so have to deal with it on the back end. But to take that cap number from 29 to 9 by giving him an extension, making him happy, making the team happy is something I would do. I would extend George Pickens and lower that. Other free agents from Dallas are Jadeveon Clowney, Dante Fowler, Jack Sanborn, Kenneth Murray, plus the released Logan Wilson and safety Donovan Wilson. These players could be brought back in some respect, but is it really worth it? Probably not. New blood probably needs to be brought in, and there isn't much currently on the roster behind those players. Marquise Bell is an intriguing defensive back that could have a role for new DC Christian Parker. Could it be a nickel corner? Could be a safety? We'll see. I've also always liked edge rusher James Houston. You know that. But his ceiling is probably rotational slash number three guy, but not a starter. If I restructure Dak, cut Kenny Clark, and do that Pickens extension, I can clear enough cap to make some minor moves done in free agency. Restructuring CeeDee Lamb, though, would really help my chances of of competitively improving the team. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because again, Jerry Jones is not here right now. In free agency, I have to be smart about what spots I pick to spend this money. My 2 first round picks could both turn into decent players in the draft, so I don't want to overspend where I may be able to draft someone, save a little money via draft pick. Both my biggest needs being edge rusher, linebacker, safety, and a third corner. I think I'm safe to spend and spread things around. I'm not saying by any means, or I'm not saying any new names here for Dallas that I've said already for these other teams, especially because Dallas should also be a zone heavy team similar to Washington, but Dallas won't have quite the same spending power that Washington did. So Joey Bosa is an intriguing name at edge as a veteran who might not get the same money as a younger player. But Adafe Owe, Boye Mafe, and even Kayvon Chason are other names to note here. At linebacker, I like Nakobe Dean due to his familiarity with Christian Parker, but also guys that may be a touch older for Dallas, like Quincy Williams. He was a good player with the Jets before things went sideways there, so maybe bringing him back to with his brother Quinnen could be a good reset for him. Even guys like Alex Anzalone and Alex Singleton in their early 30s are interesting to pair with a younger free agent and the other starter Demarion Overshone. In the backfield, I'm looking to spend more at safety rather than corner. Jaquan Brisker, Cam Curl, Brian Cook, and Kobe Bryant are all high on my list, as well as Reed Blankenship, another tie-in to Christian Parker from Philadelphia. At corner, the type of bin I'm looking at would be more like Jamel Dean, Rasul Douglas, Cordell Flott, Josh Jobs, Kobe Durant. One of those guys as a depth piece would be good because I have outside corners I'm interested in. Deron Bland I still like. Savon Ravel, draft pick last year, coming off injury, got healthy last year, was playing at the end of the year. I still want him to be an outside corner, a starter. So I don't need to spend big on an outside corner in free agency. This brings me to the draft with two picks in the top 100. We're picking at 12 and 20. So I'm probably not getting in that first tier of defenders starting at 12. But second and third tier can still give me some viable starters. Sonny Styles, Mansour Delane, Peter Woods. Those are my targets at 12. Keldrick Falk would be my fourth option. Jamal McCoy would be my fifth. At 20, I'd love Avion Terrell if I don't get Delane at 12. Um, but if I get Delane at 12, I'd love a defensive tackle like Caden McDonald or even Caleb Banks. Edge rushers Cassius Howell and Akeem Mesidor will be the other targets with that second pick if I can't get one of those DTs. Styles and Terrell would be my ideal 1-2, and then probably Delane and McDonald. Coincidentally, neither of those picks includes an edge rusher, which I desperately need. So that makes it all the more important to grab one of those guys in free agency. So free agency is really going to have to be get the edge rusher, um, and then target those guys in the draft. Ben, how do you feel about all this for the Cowboys?
Well, there's a lot there. Let me just sit on a guy that you and I both like. I'm probably higher on him, but we both like him, and that's Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio
I don't
State.
know, Ben. He's working on my board. I'm working on my 2.0, man, and he's creeping up. He's
I
creeping
think
up.
I've got him 3 or 4 on mine. So
Shoot,
unless you've
okay, he
got him
might
that
be.
high, I'm probably
Well,
higher on
now
him.
now I put him two. What do you think? What do you say to that? Put
Okay,
him at one,
yeah,
Ben. Do it.
man, you were higher on Sonny Styles than I am, Simon. I'm amazed here, and I like him a lot. So, for those of you who listen, not all linebackers are created equal. Yeah, this is a guy who has some edge rushing potential, but is probably not going to make his NFL living doing that. His NFL living is kind of as a huge giant safety who plays linebacker because that's what he used to do. Now, I don't think he ever had the speed or the ball skills to be playing collegiate safety. That's why they moved
Hmm.
him to linebacker. But the result has been an alien playing linebacker, who's still not huge ball skills, but boy, the range, the depth, and the fact that he can come in and mash the run and offer some kind of, I think, NFL level quarterback pressure.
Hmm.
It's quite a quarterback. There are going to be several teams who are going to be hard pressed to pass up Sonny Styles. But there's a range of teams starting, I think, with the Dolphins at 11 or whatever they are, and then the Cowboys at 12, and then the Buccaneers at 15. I just don't see those three teams passing up Sonny Styles. He would be so perfect for what they need and what they're trying to do. So Sonny Styles, I think for the Cowboys, he's not going to cure all their ills, but boy, he would be a perfect fit for them, and I really like that. So the Sonny Styles thing, again, he's not the most. I don't want to suggest that he's the second coming of Dick Butkus or something like that, but still, he's a heck of a guy and he's a unique guy. There just aren't many guys doing that. And while the linebackers, we're getting more and more of these bigger athletes playing linebacker because that's the demand both in college and the pros. But still, we're only going to see so many guys like Sonny Styles. It's fairly unique. So yeah, that's a good fit for Dallas there.
I love Sonny Styles, man. I mean, 6'4", 240 plus, like a 4'4" kind of 40 type of player. You mentioned it, safety. So even though it doesn't mean he's a former safety, so he's gonna like be a tight end or racer, right? No, it's not that. It just means he's gonna have
Right.
a feel for playing in zone defenses and keeping things in front of him,
Yeah.
coming downhill to fill gaps to defend the run, like all those other things that come with being a linebacker. It doesn't mean he's immediately gonna be like a really good man coverage player. Wouldn't surprise me if he got there. But yes, for as much as the linebacker position is changing, you look at the other linebackers that we like in this class, CJ Allen is still that, 6'1", 235, sideline to sideline. Can, yeah, rack up a lot of tackles, but like, yeah, he's also not like a huge man-to-man cover guy. He's not a huge thumper. Anthony Hill Jr., a little bigger, 6'3", 240, 245.
Yeah.
Thumper. Run downhill, hit a guard, take away a run lane, but not great. Like he doesn't have that feel in zone, all that. But Sunny Styles does all of that stuff. And then usually those guys are Arvel Reese, who has the same athletic profile, but we're like, he might be an edge rusher. Usually we take these linebackers that are 6'4", 240 fast and say, go play edge rusher. But Styles might be the 1 in 10 that's like, ooh, let's keep you at linebacker and see what that looks like. And so the idea of just getting Fred Warner 2.0, man, is just gets me freaking going. Um, so yeah, if I could get Sonny Styles and Avion Terrell at 12 and 20, I'd be thrilled if I'm Dallas. And everything else we'll kind of figure out along the way. Um, but that would be a huge turn for there because 12, it's funny, just the difference between pick 7 for Washington and pick 12 for Dallas. Like Washington could legitimately get like a tier 1 edge rusher, get a guy that might be like a 12 plus sack a year guy. And I don't think Dallas is going to get that at 12, just 5 spots later. I think those guys are going to run out. So that's when you're looking at Keldrick Falk, and that's when you're looking at Cassius Howell and all those other guys. So leaning towards a corner, obviously Sonny Styles if he's there, even starting to look at defensive tackles makes a lot of sense for them.